Estate Chat, episode 21. Welcome this morning. It's been a while since we've been here. My name is Jim Rapond with Coldwell Banker Danforth, and my partner here today is Rhonda. Introduce yourself, Rhonda.
I sure will. Thanks, Jim. Hi, I'm Rhonda Porter, licensed loan officer with Mortgage Master Service Corporation and author of The Mortgage Porter. A little rusty.
Yeah, it's been a couple weeks since we've done these, and we started out trying to do them every week on Tuesday at 10 o'clock, and we're starting to get to a place where with the topics we want to kind of gather them and put a little bit more energy into having more detail. So rather than rush one out once a week, we will put them out either weekly, bi-weekly, or once you see a hangout published, definitely you can sign up for it. And we are doing these inside webinar jam. So this is a jam hangout, which means you have to register your first name, but that it comes inside of a separate box rather than in the standard Google Plus interface. It is sometimes available there, actually usually available there, and it is also always available on YouTube afterwards. So but by being live at a webinar stage, you're able to interact with us in the chat format and make notes, and we can see when you're there, and we can respond to questions or anything that you have concerns about. So today we're kind of a little bit of a mishmash because there's some news going on in real estate, and we're busy. Both Rhonda and I are busy with different types of events. Rhonda's coordinating the Seattle ReBarcamp, which is a real estate event that happens every couple years when people coordinate it, and she's the main coordinator of a bunch of volunteers. I'm one of the little volunteers, and she sort of coordinates what we do. But why don't you tell people a little bit about what that's about, Rhonda, because I bet a lot of the people, especially if they're not realtors, don't really even know what that is.
Well, ReBarcamp stands for Real Estate Bar Camp, and it's often compared to as being an unconference, meaning that the agenda and topics are not preset. They're decided by the attendees the day of the event, and it's open to anybody, but it tends to be attended by real estate agents, mortgage lenders, title and escrow people, and people that have an interest in social media or tech. So, but oftentimes too, we'll have a subject that's totally not about tech. It could be about things like what we're going to talk about today, even on our show, regarding trends in real estate too. So the organizers, and Jim's not a little organizer, there's a group of us that are putting this on together, all equally important. Couldn't do it all alone. But we will sort through all the suggestions that come to us that morning to decide what seems to be the most important to the group that we have that's there. So really looking forward to it. It's going to be on Thursday, this Thursday at Centerpoint in Kent, and you can learn more about it at www.rebarcamp.com/Seattle. So it costs $10 to attend. Up until, I believe, Wednesday, the ticket prices are going to go up to $20.
Yeah, and I believe we've got that displayed as a sticky note down here in the chat forum, so people.
Oh, great! Thank you.
Sure. And the other thing I'd like to say about ReBarcamps is that it's really a mishmash of what people at the grassroots want to learn about and share about. So this is not a place where typically a lot of vendors come and they try to sell us something and say how great it is and kind of demo it and call that a conference. It's more of we come together and say, okay, now we're doing a lot more of this kind of like Google Hangouts video, or we're doing a lot more interactive email with clients on issues that we used to do face-to-face, things like that. And we talk about how we can raise the bar in terms of our professionalism and make sure that we're doing the best job we can for our clients and that kind of thing. But it's based on the people who attend making those decisions. And last one we did was that the one at the Pacific Science Center?
That one was at Seattle Center, yeah, 3 years ago.
Okay, and that one was pretty well attended. I think we had north of 500. It could have been as many as 700. We really had no way to count, but a pretty big turnout. We're trying to kind of downsize it a little this time because it becomes a lot more intimate in terms of being able to have one-on-one discussions and not have it be, like in big conference rooms where people need mics and it's hard for people to interject because they're just kind of intimidated with such large groups. So.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, so some things going on in the news today, or in the last couple weeks. So I wanted to bring them up. We've been hearing a lot about inventory, and I wanted to bring up the fact that we do have a very low inventory market right now. So I have some statistics here. I'm going to see if I can pop these in as things that you could download, and I'm a little bit confused about how to do that because we've got some new features in our webinar jam. So if you don't see them here, oh, here we go. Okay, so I'm gonna push out this this offer here, this display offer. It just says Seattle area sales statistics. You can download this. This is a PDF of actually all of King County, but we're focused on Seattle here. So if you look at the data there, it'll talk about February 2013. February 2014, and so we talk about a year-on-year end, and then we try to measure a 12-month period in any one slice. And this is how the Northwest Multiple Listing Service typically reports data. So you'll be able to see there if you look closely at that, and I don't have it to display to stick screen here, but if you look at the particular cities and stuff in King County, like Seattle and Bellevue and some of those cities, you'll see that typically we have anywhere from 1.7 to 2.5 months of inventory, and that means it is a very hot market, seller's market, and that means normally in an equal market where it's not pro-seller or pro-buyer, we have about 6 months inventory. But what that means is that at the rate of sales now, if we got no more new listings in that 1.9 months, we'd completely be out of inventory. We will have sold every home on the market. That's an extremely tight market, and that's why you're seeing most homes sell for over 100% of list price, and usually in a 5, 10, 15-day period where normally it's 30, 60, 90 days, sometimes more depending on the price and style of the property. But so that's affected people, particularly buyers, in a hard way. It's great news for sellers, but for buyers it's pretty tough. You need to be pretty strong and aggressive, and you also need to work with a realtor who really understands strategies of working with sellers who are in control, and yet make sure that the buyers are protected to get a home that doesn't have major problems and that they don't end up overpaying for, and all of that. So I'm going to also push out a different offer here. Let me see. I got to take this one away. Again, sorry, bear with me here. Okay, so now this one will give you the, if you download this, we'll explain those maps. So it breaks down the area in the different parts of Seattle where, like 701 means downtown, 700 means Queen Anne. You wouldn't know that without using this map to sort of help you put the two pieces of information together. So there you go.
I'd say it's even more important than ever, too, to make sure that buyers are pre-approved, and they might even want to take it a next step and try and get a loan commitment letter from their lender, which means that that the underwriter has completely reviewed the file as well, and that any conditions to the loan are disclosed too. I mean, anything that a buyer can do to make themselves stronger than their competition, I think, will only help them.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Anything, cover letters. Having the lender call the listing agent, any strategy you can do that will put you in a better position than the 3, 4, 5, 6 other people out there that are making offers, because that's what's happening. A well-priced home that's in good condition is going to have 2 to 10 offers right now. That's sort of the average. So again, buyers just have to be aggressive. If you want to sit back and wait and just be the only person and hope you can get it under list price, that's not going to happen anytime soon, and what may happen is you get priced out of the market. We've seen appreciations of 10 to 20% in this last year, and you can see that on the data, those sheets that I've given you. And if that continues, and or interest rates rise at a fast clip, you'll see your buying power drop off while you were waiting to get what you want to call a good deal. So
Jim,
it's all. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, why aren't there more listings on right now? I mean, if I had a home to sell, why not list it now? It seems like it'd be ideal time to be a seller.
Well, good question. It is an ideal time to sell. The values now, and most people don't realize that, The values now are pretty much where they were at the top of the market back in 2007 and 2008. And so they're at a position where they should be able to sell. Now, there are people that are stretched. We've gone through the Great Recession where people have lost a lot of equity and have had to see their savings dwindle down and are maybe not in the position that they would like to be to sell their home, to move to a larger home, or to move to some other location, or whatever their goals may be. But we should start seeing more come on the market. There's always this, capitalism's funny that way, supply and demand at some point meet, and the seller's going to go, what? I can get that much for my house? Sell it. It's yours. And you'll see a flooding of the market, but we haven't hit that point yet. So I would not be surprised if that does happen soon. But if interest rates take off, that will hamper that, because the sellers realize that they need to then go out into the market and use those high interest rates for whatever property they want to acquire when they liquidate the one they're selling.
Right.
That makes sense. So anyway, so that was one of the things I wanted to cover today, just because it's an ongoing thing, and we see it more and more. Another result of the things that we see is more urbanization, more crowding. You're seeing a lot more apartments being built, a lot more condos being built in a much denser way, and that's particularly true in Seattle. This is causing some conflicts, and there's one going on right now in Ballard, where Ballard is being hit pretty hard by this, but where one property has kind of come to the forefront is they've had this one house sell, and now they're putting 4 in, and it's approximately 16 inches between each house. So I was going to show you that video real quick, and then we can talk about it. See if I can get that to play here.
How well do you know your neighbor? One Seattle couple recently learned they're about to become very close to whoever moves in next door. KOMO 4's Lindsay Cohen reports from Ballard tonight, where "not in my backyard" is taking on a whole new meaning.
If it really is all about location, 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 the Simmons family thought they found the perfect place to retire in a redone Ballard bungalow.
We love the neighborhood.
But that neighborhood, steeped in history, is also so sought after that their new neighbors may be a little too close for comfort.
I don't understand how they can build a house 10 inches away.
This shows the plot for the house that's going in next door.
Next door, a developer plans to knock down the old house here and put up 4 row houses in its place.
The gutter of our house will be about 1 foot from that huge wall.
The wall of the closest house will be on the property line as part of changes made to city code in 2010. If the development gets approved, drawings show the 2 houses would be about 2.5 to 3 feet away from each other. What does that mean in real life? It's a little bit longer than your average newborn child, a little bit larger than your average coho salmon, and about half the size of the world's longest cat.
There will be some growing pains.
Brian Stevens says the new houses may seem close now, but they're part of a greater vision for the city.
They eventually decided that you needed to allow that zero lot line development to encourage future row house development to continue all the way down a block.
Yeah, it's like that. It's not that much.
The Simmons family wonders how they'll maintain the outside of their home, plus the precious things inside, including his 97-year-old mom who lives here and the grandkids who come and play.
We're not against density. We understand we live in a very desirable area, but to build a house so close to another house, how can that possibly happen?
In Seattle, Lindsay Cohen, KOMO 4 News.
Northwest 60th Street in Ballard, where this is happening, is part of a 60-block area zoned for row houses. It's actually been that way for 30 years, according to planning and development, but the changes in 2010 made it easier for developers. The Simmons family is not ruling out legal action.
This is an ongoing thing that's going on right now in urban density, and it's very hard for people to accept, especially people who've lived in Seattle their whole lives. They're seeing all of these changes happen around them at a very fast pace, and density is going up, and it's not the Seattle yesteryear. But the reality is there is an increased density need, and if we don't do this, what happens is it drives prices sky high. So, before you know it, you're looking at New York or San Francisco prices because the planning department didn't take the growth into consideration to create additional units in denser format to allow for people to still be able to afford to live within the core city. So I'm playing devil's advocate here because I see both sides of this, but as a realtor, I'm in the middle in a way because I'm helping people buy and sell properties in these situations. I can tell you that most people moving in are learning quickly that a very small footprint environment is a better, if it's designed well, is a better living arrangement, and of course much cheaper for them. But that takes some getting used to too. People coming in from Kansas City or Texas or Oklahoma, places where they've been able to get 3-acre homes for $200,000, and for $225,000 they'll get a lake on it. They're really having to rethink their lifestyles. On the other hand, I get people coming from Manhattan going, wow, this is dirt cheap. People from Singapore just think that this is bargain basement sales. So, foreigners, particularly in countries, Asian countries like China and Singapore, where it's very dense and their cost of living is very high, are used to this to the point where they think that, they just look around and say, oh, what a great city, but where are the people? There's nobody that really lives here. It's so, desolate. And we don't see it that way. So anyway, it's going to take some getting used to, and this is an open debate. I don't know. Ronnie, you have some thoughts on this?
Yeah, I guess my first reaction is I don't understand why they aren't making, maybe they will, those homes just attached, like attached townhomes, what the reasoning is behind that. Because if they did that too, that would create more space for the neighbors and the single-family detached residences on either side. I know, like in West Seattle, where I live, there's a recently, they might be a year old now, but a developer did a really nice set of, I think it's 4 or 5 homes. I want to say it's going down Oregon Street or Alaska Street. I think it's Oregon. Nice job. I mean, it was tearing down an older home that was kind of let to sit, and but it's a very attractive, probably one of the more attractive set of what I would consider a row house or attached townhomes than what I've seen in a while. But I guess. So when you look at this video and you see that they're just going to like this much space between them, how do you maintain that? It seems like it'd be set up to have maintenance issues.
Right, and I think you're right. There are maintenance issues that go on there because typically, if it's that close together, you're going to have to share a sidewalk just to get your garbage cans to and from the back. I mean, there's no way that you'll be able to have 2 sets of sidewalks if you've got a 16-inch space between 2 buildings. There's no room for 2 sidewalks there. So, yes, it does require some rethinking of how you deal with your boundaries and how you deal even with window placements. You don't want a window right up against another window. That's not going to make sense. And you want to try to create an environment where you've got at least a light corridor coming down if you're going to have windows, so that's the point of a window, to let in light. So, yeah, I'm not sure the whole reasoning behind the not townhome, other than I'm guessing what was going on is that the zoning is catching up to that. So while it may have been zoned for dense single family, it may not have been enough for it to be townhomes. But my guess is that that's changing fairly quickly too. So yeah. I think that's about it for time. We've already passed a 20-minute limit here. I wanted to go into some of the other stuff that's going on. We've had some entertainers, with the Seahawks and with Ryan McLemore and stuff in town purchasing real estate here, and it's kind of cool to see what the rich and famous are doing, but they're settling in Seattle. So maybe next time we can do a little bit of exploring of what some of the homes that they've been purchasing lately, because it's always fun to see what those are like, and there's some
little lifestyles of the rich and famous.
Lifestyles of the rich and famous. That's right. We'll do a little bit of that next time. A little teaser there. So let's see. I think we've got a pre-configured thing about our class. Can you tell people a little bit about our class?
Yeah, our next class is coming up on. Is it?
April 11th.
Jim. April 11th. Thank you.
I was just looking for. I thought you could talk it through, but I don't see it here.
I'm gonna. I have a bulletin board up here. I'm gonna start posting it up on my bulletin board. I don't know why I'm not using it for that. Darn it.
Okay.
But it'll be at the English library.
And I thought I had a pre pop-up for that too, to throw people right over to the sign-up sheet on that. I think it's already starting to get a little bit full, but anyway, I'll make sure that there is on the YouTube channel, that there is a link for that inside the enhancements, so that you'll be able to find it for that. It's from 11 to 4. Rhonda and I do this. It's more Rhonda than me because it's a lot about financing. We also talk a lot about this market and where we are with all of these needs for strategizing around multiple offers and making sure that you approach each situation where you have the best opportunity to win strong earnest money, pre-inspection sometimes, a lot of the things that she's talking about with pre-approvals and financing to rise to the top in desirability for the seller when they're looking to make a decision. So anyway, the wise thing to do if you're looking to buy a home is to go to one of these seminars, and they're free, and we serve pizza. How about that? So it's a Green Lake Library. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, we're putting together a really nice book, which is new at this class for home buyers to take home with them, that they'll be able to write notes in, and it's very detailed. So instead of having to like scratch everything down on a notepad, hopefully you'll find this, what we're going to provide to you, useful.
Yeah, something that you can take back and you can actually reference and use, whether you've got a realtor or mortgage broker already, that's okay. Feel free to join us at these classes. And again, this will be Green Lake Library, and it actually has really good parking. You'd think that'd be tough, but the library lets us park in their parking lot, and we start early enough that everybody's always been able to get a spot for all day right there in the center of Green Lake. So anyway, hope to see people there, and look forward to doing one of these either next week or the week after. Just check on Google+. We'll put it on Twitter. It's hashtag Seattle RE Chat. And so you can always find it that way too if you search on Twitter. So thanks very much, everybody, for coming in, and we hope to see you again soon. And if you have any questions about real estate or real estate mortgages, feel free to get in touch with me at Coldwell Banker Danforth. My contact information is there, or Rhonda.
Yeah, that would be great. I'd love to help you with your mortgage. So,
yeah,
of course.
We have her information there as well. So anyway, thanks very much, everybody. Have a great day. Bye.
Yes, have a great week. Take care.